All right, so it's been many years since I've done a tutorial on YouTube, and I thought I'd break the streak and uh, talk about a tool that I've found to be extremely helpful. So, if you create podcasts or YouTube videos for your business, you likely understand the challenges of creating content and distributing it across many platforms. So, if you're creating these videos and you're only uploading them to YouTube, or you're creating a podcast and you're only uploading it to Stitcher or Apple Podcasts, and are not also creating a text version of that content, you're missing out on a huge SEO opportunity to drive more website traffic and links. It's likely that you've tinkered around with ChatGPT or some other AI tool and have found it to be interesting but maybe difficult to achieve consistent quality results. And that's true of many people. And so I just want to share some of my findings. Um, I do this for on the side for some clients, and I've spent countless hours watching videos, experimenting with tools, and have built a repeatable four-step process that will really help you leverage your existing media assets to create good written content that ranks well in Google. As an added benefit, all the tools that I'll be looking at today are currently free. So, just to set the table for this video, I'm working under the assumption that you have a video or a podcast asset in place and you want to also create a blog post from that. And let's go ahead and jump in. So first off, you should head over to Claude 2 and create an account with them if you don't already have one. Claude is just similar to ChatGPT, only I think it's actually better. A couple of things that in my mind that make Claude stand out over ChatGPT is that it's easier to work with when you're pasting lots of text, and also does a better job writing. The style in my mind it's been better, less robotic, and it's at times faster. Although now that I think it's getting more popular, I think it's slowing down a bit. Another thing about Claude is it does a nice job uh, writing in HTML or Markdown so that you can easily, like, the formatting is much better than ChatGPT. So both are good, but in my mind, it's a better for this sort of exercise. So this is a prompt, what you see here, and I can paste this in the YouTube description, but this is a prompt I've developed to kind of layer on several different prompts into one. I'll go ahead and explain this. So here, I'll just read it out loud. I'm going to paste 3 existing blog posts from my website so that you can understand my tone and writing style. So stop right there. One of the challenges that I see with people trying to use AI is they start from scratch every single time, and they might try to prompt engineer something to try to get at what they're trying to produce. What's the type of tone, what's the style, what's the burstiness. I've heard a lot of different things, and what I've found is just pasting previous content is a good way to kind of fast track some of that. So the part 2 of this prompt is I'm going to paste our XML sitemap so that you can reference our website pages. This is important because if you're trying to create content for SEO, you need to be strategically using internal links. Another challenge with people using AI is, they don't internal link, or, there's just a lot more work on the back end when you're editing this. And so I've found if you can put the XML sitemap, it provides more context for who you are, what your website's about, and also allows you to internal link to some other content. Finally, so back to the prompt, I'm going to paste a transcript of a recent video we did. Okay, you're just kind of setting the stage here. Now here's the ask. I would like you to develop a company blog post from the transcript that matches the overall tone and voice of our other blog posts and has 2 to 3 links to other pages on our website. I would like you to focus the links on relevant products or services. That last part I think is kind of important. So if you're creating a blog post, the purpose in my mind of that blog post is ultimately you want it to rank in Google, gain its own authority, but then you also want to use it to kind of pass some of that authority to your product pages, which are a lot more competitive. It's harder to rank for those pages, so you want to link to them. or your service pages. And so what I'm saying is read the XML sitemap, and if it's related, link to a product or service page. Now we'll see if it works in this example, but I've done this quite a bit and it's worked well. And for the purposes of this exercise, I'm going to just pull a random YouTube video. I have no affiliation with this channel. I just happen to like it. This is Tractor Time with Tim. So Tim produces some good content where he reviews tractor gear, tractors. He shares his jobs that he does on his 1025R, which is a pretty cool subcompact tractor here. So what I'm going to do here is actually, so I found this video and I went to his website and I just decided I'm going to pull three blog posts, and that's what I'll do here. So this is the prompt, so I'm just going to hold shift so I can continue to the prompt here and just do blog one, so it knows. So if you notice, Claude will just, if it's a long piece of content, it'll paste it as a text file. Blog 2, let's go to the next one here. So that one must not have been long enough to go text file. And blog 3. That one is a text file. And then finally, let's do the XML sitemap. See if he has one. I think, oh, he does. I know he has one because I just checked it out. So we go to sitemap. And we don't really care about the images or videos. We're just going to focus on this first one. If you use Yoast plugin, a lot of times I like to pull both the page and the post sitemaps just for more comprehensive coverage. I'm going to just paste this, go back to Claude. And then the last step here is we have to get the transcript. And I just like to do these headers. I don't know how well those transfer, but to me it's providing a little context for Claude, which is a terrible name. But every AI tool has pretty bad names. All right, we got the transcript here. All right, this is a pretty full prompt. So we're going to go ahead and see how this works. The cool thing about this is it works well for any industry. And the other thing that I like about this approach before we move on is it's taking content you've already created and using AI to supplement it and make it even a better resource. You can go the other way around where you try to start with AI to create the content and create a good resource, and that works if you're willing to work at it. This, to me, there's something about I created this content and I'm just making it better. And so it's going to be more in my words, my tone of voice, the words I would use. The fact checking is, you still have to fact check this content, but it's likely going to be more accurate. Sometimes you run into issues when you're just generating content from AI where it'll just kind of guess. And if you're not careful, you could produce content that, is wrong, which is really bad in certain industries, any industry, but especially like the legal industry. It's going to be problematic. So let's see how it does. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, or actually just submit this. And let's see. Oh, I left. If you do this on your own, just go ahead and delete this section, insert blog post. So this is step one. It's kind of a multi-step process for step one. Step two will be looking at this to see, okay, how does this look compared? Like, is this good content? Does it read like AI, or are there just tons of bullet points that just are overdone? I think this is pretty good. It's kind of short. So step two is, go back and forth with it. And so what I'm going to say is, I want to see, please make this more substantial and only include the first link, one link per page. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I would want to do here. I don't really know the content of the video very well. So if you're using your own video, you would have a better understanding. I'm just doing this on the fly. So, but let's just see how this works. So I'm just kind of skimming through this as it's producing it. The content reads pretty well. I like the headers. I mean, I'm just, if this was something I was actually going to post, I would, you want to go through with as an editor almost. And I find even subtle changes to make it more human are going to be really good. But it didn't really do a great job on the links. And it didn't really expand much on the content. So let me just try this again. You know what? He might Tractor Time with Tim might not have products or services. So I'm going to remove that section. So please include 2 to 3 internal links. And we'll just leave it at that. All right, we got one for 3D Fusion Labs. All right, that's good. Couple additional links were added there. All right, so this is generally pretty good. It's not perfect, but let's go ahead. My next step that I like to do is take this and take it to 0GPT. There's a lot of GPT or like AI content detectors, and some of them are better than the others, but this one I found to work pretty well. So let's just see how this works. So this is what's incredible about this process that I'm showing you. If you start, like, I'm going to use ChatGPT or Claude to create content and take that content and put it here. So in other words, you're starting with them creating the content versus you creating the content and then, using old content to kind of create this new blog post. This thing will be bright yellow, full of AI detectors. But when you use your own content and you're just resurfacing or repackaging it, it does a really nice job of like, oh, this is actually pretty good. It reads well. It's not going to get flagged likely as an AI content. Now, you would still want to go through and edit this and embed the video, do whatever you can to make this the best possible resource. But, this is really good. So the next step would just simply be post this content to your website. And a couple just little tips is, let's say some CMSs handle this differently. So if you want to like maintain these headers, like, oh, I want these to be H2s and I want to make sure that these links follow through, you could have this generate the same post in HTML or in Markdown and it'll work. The other thing to note is now that you've trained, like you can kind of view this as a training session. So you've trained Claude, like this is how we want it to, how we want our blog posts to look. Then you just say, we recorded another video, here's a transcript, do the same thing for this one. And you don't have to start that process all over again. You can simply just come back to this thread and it'll remember and pick up off of that. So that's where the consistency comes into play, where you're really building out consistent content that ranks well, hopefully, on Google. So just to recap, it's good, you need, in today's world, you really need to produce the best content possible to have a chance at ranking. And AI is a great tool to leverage, but it's also not good enough just right out of the box without some good prompting. So what I've found is if you can have some strategic thought, and in this case, training AI with previous content, you can really build out a great workflow that can generate blog posts in minutes. Like if I wanted to generate another blog post for Tractor Time with Tim, just take another video, plug in the transcript, and you have the next blog post done. So hope this is helpful. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts or comments in the comments section. Be curious to know what other prompts that you're using to create really good content out of the box for AI. Thanks for watching.